What would you do if you had only $20 in your pocket? No car, no home, and no one waiting for you. At just 18 years old, one boy made a decision that shocked everyone around him. He would walk across America, not for fame, not for money, but to prove that hope can survive even the longest road. The summer sun had barely risen over the streets of Boston when Ethan Carter tightened the straps of his old backpack. Inside were a bottle of water, a worn notebook, 2 extra shirts, a sleeping bag, and exactly $20. That was everything he owned. A year earlier, Ethan had lost both of his parents in a tragic car accident. With no close family willing to take him in, he worked part-time jobs, slept wherever he could, and quietly watched his dreams disappear. One evening, while staring at a map of the United States hanging in a library, an impossible thought entered his mind. What if I walked across the country? Most people would have laughed. Ethan simply smiled. The next morning, he began walking west. The first week was harder than he had imagined. His feet blistered. His shoulders ached. Some nights he slept beneath highway bridges. Other nights he camped beside empty fields. Many drivers sped past without even looking at him. But every sunrise gave him another chance to continue. One afternoon, an elderly woman noticed him walking along a quiet road. She stopped her car and handed him a homemade sandwich. "You look like you've been walking forever," she said with a gentle smile. "I still have a long way to go," Ethan replied. Before driving away, she slipped $50 into his backpack without saying a word. It wasn't just money. It was kindness. And that kindness gave Ethan the strength to keep moving. Weeks turned into months. He crossed forests, rivers, endless highways, and small towns where strangers welcomed him like family. A retired firefighter offered him a place to sleep. A truck driver bought him a new pair of hiking boots. A school teacher invited him to speak to her students about courage and determination. For the first time in years, Ethan realized something important. Home isn't always a place. Sometimes, home is found in the people you meet along the way. As his journey continued, more people began noticing the young man walking with a backpack and an unforgettable smile. Someone posted his story online. Soon thousands of people were following his adventure. They called him the boy who walked across America. Messages poured in from every corner of the country. Some thanked him for inspiring them. Others admitted they had almost given up on life until they heard his story. Without realizing it, Ethan had become a symbol of hope. Nearly 6 months after leaving Boston, Ethan finally reached the Pacific coast. The sun was setting over the ocean. He took off his backpack and stood silently as waves rolled onto the shore. More than 4,000 kilometers, thousands of footsteps, hundreds of strangers, one unbelievable journey. He hadn't crossed America alone. Every act of kindness had carried him one step farther. As he looked across the endless horizon, tears filled his eyes. Not because the journey was over, but because he had discovered something far greater than the destination. He had found faith in humanity again. Years later, Ethan used his experience to create a charity that helped homeless teenagers find shelter, education, and hope. Whenever someone asked why he had walked across America, he always gave the same answer. "I wanted to see if kindness still existed." Then he would smile and add, "I discovered far more kindness than miles." Sometimes the longest journey isn't measured in miles. It's measured in the people who remind us that the world still has compassion. Because one small act of kindness can change someone's entire life. And sometimes, one boy with $20 and a dream can inspire an entire nation. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Beyond America for more unforgettable stories from across the United States.